Well, I'm delighted to say that joining us once again today is Jenny Bond to help us talk through the royal procession, looking resplendent in red.
Mutual.
Did you enjoy yesterday?
Oh, it was lovely. It was so nice to be back, I must say, and to see it all in the sunshine. Not quite so lucky today, but the royal procession started already, but I fear, they may have got wet on the way, but now a bit of sunshine.
We may get a rainbow today, I think.
We might, and I'm sure that the Queen will stay for the duration because she's got a runner, hasn't she, in the last race?
Humdrum runs in the last. She's got a very good chance.
She does? Mm-hmm. Whoa, well, that's great. Maybe I'll put some money on it, hey?
The Queen's had 20 winners at Royal Ascot so far over the years, so maybe number 21 on the way?
That would be fantastic. Now, I don't know what colour the money is on for what she's wearing today, but it looks to me as if she is wearing pink. Which puts me in my place, yes, absolutely. Hair, I said blue. With her, the Duke, of course, second day, looking very happy, isn't he? And who else have we got in there?
Pink and white. So in the first carriage we have Her Majesty the Queen, alongside the Duke of Edinburgh. We also have the Duke of Abercorn and the Earl of Dalhousie, who were both here in the royal procession yesterday.
Yes, second day for them, so I imagine they've been guests overnight at Windsor Castle. The Duke of Abercorn, his wife was here yesterday. Undoubtedly she'll be here in the royal box, but not in the carriage procession. As a young man, he was an Ulster Unionist MP.
I love the fact Prince Philip there just leaning over the side to see how far the wheels are sinking into the turf. Just have a little look. He's presenting a trophy today, actually, which is very rare. He's going to come down and present the Prince of Wales's trophy, which normally Prince Charles would do. In the second carriage, we have Princess Alexandra closest to us in the purple. We have the Duchess of Gloucester, the Duke of Gloucester as well, and Mr. Christopher Rhys-Jones.
Yes, the wind really getting up now. She is going to have to hang on to that. Very much a family carriage, this one. The Duke of Gloucester and Princess Alexandra, of course, cousins of the Queen, both grandchildren of George V. They're quite regulars here. Christopher Rhys-Jones, I think it's lovely to see him here. He's Sophie Wessex's father. Sadly, his wife Mary, Sophie's mother, died 6 years ago. And it's lovely to see him included, and makes me think one day maybe we'll see the Middletons in the carriage procession, eh?
The Middletons may have a runner on Saturday. Sorab is in the Wokingham, who won at the weekend in the rain at Salisbury. Lord Vestey there, just taking off his top hat and saluting the crowd. And opposite him is Lady Vestey in the black and white spots. We also have the Lady Brabourne and Mr. Sam Bullard on the far side there facing backwards, who gives so much advice to Sheikh Mohammed and helps run the Darley side of things, the breeding operation at Dalham Hall Stud in Newmarket.
Yes, I was reading about him. He's Director of Stallions, Claire. What does a Director of Stallions do?
Basically makes sure that they're all well promoted and that mares come to visit those stallions, and also advises on the horses to buy in terms of making potentially good stallions.
Well,
yes.
Well, I thought it might be a bit more hands-on.
No,
I'm glad it
no.
isn't.
I would say it doesn't actually direct operations, as it were.
What a wonderful sight it is, even though the sun isn't out at the moment.
In the fourth carriage, we have Sir Anthony Bamford, Lady Bamford, nearest to us in the cream hat there, very dramatic hat that, and also Mr. Anthony Lauriston-Clark and Jenny Lauriston-Clark facing opposite in the blue, a former top-class dressage rider and now runs Catherston Stud and very involved in the breeding of dressage horses.
Well, Sir Anthony Bamford has been in this carriage procession several times, I know. He's the billionaire chairman of JCB. And Carol, as you will know, is a horse owner herself. Am I right in thinking she won the Oaks?
Yes, with Sariska.
Fantastic. And I'm told she also has a huge organic farm and a lovely spa in Gloucestershire, so she's very green.
The Windsor Greys there just getting a little frisky in front. Need to try and stay in trot, and it's a very measured, rhythmical pace.
Well, they'll be looking for their summer holidays, won't they? I think in August and September they're put out to grass at Hampton Court, I think.
Very nice spot to be. Now, what do we have in terms of the details of the outfit?
Yes, the Queen is wearing a pink and white spotted georgette dress by Stuart Parvin. She does wear quite a lot of Stuart Parvin. And a white cloquet coat. And her hat, if she can hold it on, is...
It looks very firm, that hat.
Yes, it does, rather unlike mine. Philip Somerville. So that's a stalwart as well, and very pretty it is too, isn't it?
It's like a Mr. Whippy. I know, I'm sure that's not the technical term, but the flow of it.
It does, doesn't it? Delicious, yes. It's lovely to think that these two have been married now for nearly 64 years, and what a strong partnership it is. She fell for him, you know, when... he's having a nice laugh there. When she was just 13, And he went...
Really?
Yes. He was showing her around Dartmouth Naval College, and she was just 13, and she thought, he is a bit of a stunner.
And he was.
And he was. And a prince, obviously, in his own right. And I love the fact that the sparkle is still there between them after more than 60 years of marriage and more than 70 years of knowing one another. You just see it from time to time.
A great sense of humour helps.
I think so. Well, what the Duke said at the 50th wedding anniversary was that the Queen has tolerance and in abundance, and that is a very necessary ingredient for a long marriage. And she, of course, depends on him a great deal. She, at that same anniversary, said that Prince Philip has quite simply been my stay through all these long years, and the country owes him a debt of gratitude that probably neither he nor we fully recognise, which I thought was a wonderful tribute.
And he is now the longest-serving consort, isn't he?
Indeed, and in a few years' time she may well be the longest-serving monarch. But I think very wisely, from the start, she's let him wear the trousers at home. He's the boss at home, as I think you know.
Well, not in that much detail, but I did have a funny experience having lunch at Windsor Castle, and Prince Philip has a bell in front of him, and it's up to him to ring the bell to tell the servants to come through to clear each course. And he was, deeply involved in a conversation, so the call came down, "Philip, bell."
Does she not have one of her own?
No, I said, "Does the Queen not have her own bell?" He said, "Certainly not."
You see, I think that is a secret of how they've kept going in partnership. For a man as proud as Prince Philip, as I say, a royal prince himself, quite hard to play second fiddle the whole time, which is something he's had to do. But he said from the start he regards it as his prime duty. And of course that's why he gave up his naval career, and I think that's just wonderful that she has now made him Lord High Admiral for his 90th birthday. I think it's a really nice touch, even though he couldn't have that career.
You can see there the vast expanse of this new grandstand. It's such an impressive building and runs for nearly quarter of a mile. It's nearly 2 furlongs long, that stand.
Is it really?
Looks like a massive spaceship, doesn't
That's
it?
why my feet hurt so much yesterday. Yes.
And we'll pause for the national anthem. We talked earlier about the Queen's involvement in racing today, specifically with Humdrum running in the last, but the important thing to note is that she also owns the racecourse. It has always been royal land.
Indeed. I mean, 300 years ago, Queen Anne, who sounded quite a feisty character, I must say, was, we are told, rampaging through Windsor Forest in a one-horse chariot, because quite frankly fat to ride anymore. And she thought, this is a spiffing place for a racecourse. And here we are 300 years later.
She said the perfect place for horses to gallop at full stretch.
Indeed. And of course, in those first races, it was hunters, wasn't it, that
Yes.
ran? Great big sturdy things, and they ran for 12 miles in a day.
Well, they ran sort of
In heats.
3 heats of 4 miles each, and really the last one standing was the one that would win.
So it's
win the
changed
race.
entirely. But of course we still have traditions after the racing. Years and years and years ago it used to be a boxing match after the races, and quite vicious boxing matches. I'm told one Tom Selway, I think, in 1777 lost an eye, but we just have a sing-song now. It's rather more
Good sing-song
favourable.
around the bandstand, I think it's rather safer.
And also in those days, talking about lady owners, women weren't really allowed to own racehorses. Now you probably know who used the pseudonym Mr. Jersey for her horses.
Was that Lily Langtry?
It was. I knew you'd know that. It was indeed Lily Langtry.
Well, the Jersey Stakes is today.
Aha, perfect.
The first race today.
I wonder if it goes back to that. So they'll be heading soon up into the royal box, where once upon a time Queen Victoria got so excited about the racing that she tried to lean out of the window, not really realising it was closed, and shattered it. Fortunately, she survived to tell the tale. And the Queen, of course, still rides. Some people think she doesn't, but I saw a picture of her quite recently with her youngest grandchildren on horseback herself.
With the Earl of Wessex's children.
That's right,
yes.
with Louise and James.
I mean, the Queen had to stop riding for a while under medical advice, having had an operation, and there was a lot of talk that she'd given up riding, but she absolutely has not. It was a case of when I am fit again, I certainly shall be riding again.
And here they come into the graveyard.
It's interesting, on a sporting level, the American trainers and Australian trainers that were here were making comparisons, the Americans with the Breeders' Cup and the Australians with their fantastic festival in Melbourne for the Melbourne Cup. But nowhere else in the world has this.
It is quite something to see, actually, as they come round now. Crowds applauding. This is what they've waited to see. Through the rain, they've stood here with their umbrellas, and now the sun's come out.
The weather forecast for tomorrow and Friday is pretty dreadful.
Well, fortunately, I shan't be here.
Thanks, Jenny. But I think, you know, the Queen's very much the one who makes the decision. It was interesting, the day of Trooping the Colour, it just started to rain before the carriage procession. But clearly the Queen had said, we are going with the you know, the roofs down, as it were, and we'll be fine. And again today. It's just the most lovely atmosphere, and it's excitement combined with deep respect and enthusiasm for the Queen and for the royal family.
It's a wonderful sight indeed, and of course their busy year isn't over yet. They've got another royal wedding next month with Zara Phillips.
Zara Phillips marrying Mike Tyndall.
Mike Tyndall, yes. I hope they might be here, though I gather Mike Tyndall's been having a rather rumbustious stag night over in...
Stag weekend,
yes, I think so, Miami Beach.
So as the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh dismount from the lead carriage, we'll enjoy again the wonderful shots of this royal procession coming down the straight mile. Prince Philip pointing out different things that he notices along the way, and again the Queen warmly responding to the crowds here. And both of them have a very keen eye for detail. You know, they love the minutiae of everything they do. And I guess that as well, that keeps you young and enthusiastic, constantly noticing new things.
Oh, I think so. And they certainly are young, these two. I don't know when they're ever going to show their age, but they're not doing it at the moment, are they?
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's been a pleasure again. And the royal party will now disembark and make their way up to the royal box. And as they do so, we will see where the money is going here on the second day of Royal Ascot.